We adopted important decisions. We adopted the 16th package of sanctions that includes several items, and we continue to work on the 17th package. We also discussed, and ministers broadly supported, the new initiative for military aid for Ukraine. And of course, the details and especially the numbers will be decided and discussed on the extraordinary European summit on the 6th of March. We have to put Ukraine in a position of strength so that Ukraine is able to say no to a bad deal. Territorial integrity is non-negotiable in Congo as well as in Ukraine. The UN Charter also applies everywhere. We support the Rwanda-Nairobi peace process clearly to achieve the results by diplomatic means, but we are also taking several steps. So first, EU defense consultations with Rwanda have been suspended. There's also a political decision to implement the sanctions dependent on the situation on the ground. We have urged Rwanda to withdraw its troops, and the memorandum of understanding regarding critical raw materials will be under review. And it is clear that the steps Georgia is taking are not going to the direction of Europe. We expect certain values, certain steps to be taken by the candidate countries like Georgia is, and it's clearly not, Georgia is definitely not taking the right steps. There was not a discussion about this because it is not a NATO meeting, and we had a very clear agenda. But it's clear that the statements coming from the United States make us all worried. What is the state of play of the transatlantic relationship? It is clear that we have had differences before, but we have always managed to sort them out, and we also expect to do so this time. We are reaching out to American new administration. I will also tomorrow travel to United States to meet Marco Rubio and other representatives there to discuss the issues that are of interest to both of us. But I want to stress that NATO is a defense alliance that is there to be for the defense of all the members. And it has worked well also for America. Let me remind you that the only time Article 5 was called was for America. So countries like my own went to support America in their issues, and we lost a lot of soldiers there. I mean, we lost 12 soldiers as Estonia, and if you think how small country we are, I don't even know what is the percentage to compare. But it's clearly that we were with our allies, we hope that the transatlantic alliance works, because it has worked for both ways, and so far we don't have any indication that it wouldn't. Of course, it's going to change, that is very clear, but we shouldn't, throw something out to the window that has worked well so far. It's a bad deal for Ukraine, it's a bad deal for Europe, but it's also a bad deal for America. And I must say, last week I was in South Africa and met a lot of leaders from different parts of the world, and everybody is very concerned about the multilateral system, really, whether the international law that we have right now that protects sovereign states from aggression by other states is really in place. And I think it's in the interest of everybody that we are not in the world where might makes right. And that's why we have to be also behind Ukraine. It's not only about Ukraine, it's broader European security architecture, but actually broader global security that is at stake. So, of course, all the member states, and not only member states, but also countries in a broader global sphere that have signed security agreements with Ukraine, have to answer what are they in practice. If you think in practical terms, what could they be, then you come to the same items that are there. I mean, for any security guarantee to work. The strongest security guarantee, and actually also the cheapest one, is NATO membership. If NATO membership is not on the table, although we agreed that Ukraine's path to NATO is what was the word? Yes, irreversible. Thank you. Irreversible. So we agreed this. So in the end, Ukraine must be also part of NATO. If it is not in the first stage, then all the countries who have provided security guarantees have to answer questions about troops on the ground, about weapon ammunition supplies to actually guarantee the security, and we have to have those talks as well. By the way, I had a discussion with one American representative in Munich, and said that we need strong NATO. I said that if you want a strong NATO, then take Ukraine in, because the strongest army that there is in Europe is Ukraine army. But at the same time, I must say the work is ongoing, and I must also say that during this Foreign Affairs Council, there was one more country that came who used to be against moving on with this and came on board. Because this is what I've always said, eventually, especially in the situation where we are right now, then eventually we all come to the conclusion that our taxpayers shouldn't be the one who are paying for this. It should come from the country that destroys Ukraine, which is Russia. The banking sector is always very complicated. I mean, even in European countries, companies might run into difficulties with the banks. So can we give a guarantee? No, we can't. But we can, from our side, do the steps that we have done to introduce new exemptions on the prohibitions on the banking sector to allow banking and financial transactions associated with the energy and transport sectors, as well as transactions needed for humanitarian and reconstruction activities to work. Also, banknotes, coinage, exporting them. So far, they were restricted. So it is all. The point is that the reconstruction can start. The people of Syria, also refugees, can go back and start to participate in the reconstruction of the country. Also, four Syrian banks were removed from the list of asset freeze, transaction ban, removing Syrian Central Bank, for example. To reopen the banking sector and also payment channels, because this was something that was always addressed, that it really hinders the reconstruction. But can we give guarantees that everything goes smoothly? Then unfortunately no. But we try to do steps from our side.